Welcome to episode 5 of GC Antics. I'm Griffin.
I'm Colin.
Today we're going to be talking about music and some of the feedback we got from you on our last episode, as well as our opinions on modern restaurants and food marketing.
Starting off with music today, got some positive feedback from one John Quick 32.
Yes, on our last episode, episode 4, we asked you guys to give us your opinions on modern music.
Yeah, and what he gave us was some really great constructive feedback. Some of the things he mentioned were, I think Griffin's got it up right now, but mentions music nowadays, his opinion on music.
Yeah. Well, he mentioned that the more stuff that he likes is 90s rock and grunge music, which isn't our preference, but you can understand. And that most of modern music now is a big no-no.
Yeah.
That's what his words.
Yeah, the quote.
Yeah. He mentions that bands like Alice in Chains, Nirvana, and Evanescence have their own sort of identity and uniqueness about them, and a loyalty to what they're about, unlike some other groups that we see nowadays.
Yeah, and he mentioned too about how groups nowadays are too mainstream.
Mm-hmm. Or they're trying to be mainstream.
Trying to be mainstream. Yeah, well, they're doing a pretty good job. I agree with that statement, because nowadays, they're not really... There's nothing really different. Mm-hmm. Like, they try really hard to be different, but sometimes that shows and backfires.
Yeah,
like, trying too hard to be something you're not.
Yeah, because they still have to try and be popular.
Yeah, well, they need to... People need to watch them for them to make money, stuff like that. It's a gimmick, right? It's their thing.
Yeah, and trying to be popular means you're trying to serve the needs of your viewers rather than what you really want to do as a musician.
Yeah, which is hard because being musicians ourselves, obviously we want to play what we enjoy. Mm-hmm. And sometimes there's got to be versatile, but I mean, if you're trying to be something you're not, it's just not.
No, your heart's not going to be in it.
Yeah. And it's a gimmick. At the end of the day, it's a job. You're not having fun.
It's not you.
Which obviously it is, and that was another thing I think.
Yeah, he said.
About.
He said you can't hate on them too much because it is all a business.
Yeah, and that's an intelligent point because it's true. At the end of the day, it's a business. Just like professional sports, which is, well, music, professional sports, business itself. But I mean, we don't really associate those with business until you realize what really goes on behind the scenes.
Until you try and make a living at it.
Yeah.
But, no matter how much you need to make a living at it or how popular you need to be able to do that, it's still really important to stick to your identity in those fields.
Yeah, because otherwise you just get thrown in with the rest of everyone else.
Yeah, and don't really stick out or make a difference.
Yeah, and then you do become mainstream, which is slowly what's happening with everyone today in the music industry. Mm-hmm. So is there any music that you like nowadays?
Me?
Yeah. Like if you had to pick, I don't know, a couple people.
A couple people? Stravinsky.
I said today. Nowadays.
Today. From any music field?
Yeah.
Gordon Goodwin.
Okay, yeah.
Which, for those of you who don't know, is a big band jazz guy. I can't really...
What about anything pop?
Pop. That's tough.
Yeah, there's some pop I'm okay with.
There's none that I would make a point of listening to if I had the choice of something else.
Yeah, a lot of it's really repetitive and mainstream.
Uh-huh.
We use that word a lot, but that's really the only word I've got for it. But there's some that's okay today, like, well, Ed Sheeran. Mm-hmm. I like him.
We mentioned there's a lot of fans of Ed Sheeran.
Yeah, well, there's a reason.
Yeah, he's good. He's good.
Yeah, he doesn't need to sell anything other than talent, which is how it should be.
No.
If you're going to do a job, then do your job.
Unlike other professional musicians, if you can call them that, who are really all about just the glamour and fame.
Oh yeah, well they're selling sex appeal, and what it is they've become what we talked about last episode, how the backup singer has basically become obsolete, and now it's a singular singer and backup dancers.
Yeah.
And yeah, basically how it is with that is it's just selling sex appeal or selling, like some can't even sing.
No.
But can dance. And that's their thing.
Yeah, but they still try and sing.
Yeah, which is bad.
But then you get cases like people like Lady Gaga, who, known for all of the glamour and the crazy costumes and style, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
But when you just take all that away, she's actually still a really good singer.
Oh yeah, for sure. Yeah, and I agree. And that's what it's like. But some get it, like Michael Bublé. You can't really put him in with pop, but I mean,
yeah,
like he's had one or two pop songs the past couple years.
Yeah, his style's kind of shifted around.
Yeah, but that's what makes him interesting. He doesn't stay in one thing. He's not mainstream.
No.
He's moving around. He's got good music. Obviously, he can sing.
Yeah.
But he doesn't need to dance, or he doesn't need to flash something that's not there.
No, it's just him.
Yeah, it's just him. I don't know if there's really anybody else today that really sticks out to me other than those two guys, Ed and Michael. There's a couple. Like, I'm not big into rap.
No, me neither.
Like, I guess some of it's okay. Some has some meaning.
If I were to listen to rap, it would probably be Eminem.
Yeah. Yeah, if I had to choose.
Yeah. Because, there is some skill and quality there.
Oh, yeah, for sure. And the thing is, the thing I find with rap is I feel like a lot of them can't rap. Like, I don't really know. I don't know what.
Try and they don't really know how.
Yeah, like I don't really know what the definition of rap is.
Yeah,
but some of them I just don't think understand.
Yeah,
what.
Because you're not just saying things and you're not really singing things. It's a really different sort of form.
Yeah, and I don't think they get it. I don't think they understand what rapping is.
Yeah. And it's not like we know how to or anything.
Yeah, no, I'm not saying that I know more about rapping than Kanye or Jay-Z. I'm just saying that. And I'm not using those guys because I think they do get it. But I mean, just some of the other guys that are backups in pop songs.
Yeah.
Like they come in, sing for, I don't know, 45 seconds, a minute. They do their part. And I mean...
And get paid a lot for it.
Yeah, but some of them, I don't know if they understand what it is.
No.
And I don't know if I understand what it is, so it's hard to say.
We're not rap people.
Yeah.
We don't know.
No, I am rap
Don't
god.
listen to our opinions.
I'm rap god. I know everything about
rap god.
Yeah,
okay.
rap god. I stole that. That's Eminem's new album, isn't it?
Is it?
Yeah, it is.
I don't know.
Yeah, that was the new one he came out with about a month ago.
Maybe we should get it.
Oh, we should become a rap duo. That'd be awesome.
I think this is the closest we're gonna get.
Yeah. What, to be in a rap duo?
Yeah, doing the podcast.
Okay, sure. So we mentioned at the beginning of the episode about restaurants and fast food.
Yes.
Well, we didn't really mention fast food, but we're going to be talking about that a bit as well today.
Partly because you got a new job recently.
Yeah, go me. Yeah, McDonald's.
The one and only McDonald's.
Yeah. So excited to start there. One thing I found already with the fast food places is I never really understood before. When you walk in to order your food, preferably at a fast food place, we'll use I don't know, A&W as an example. Because we can.
Okay, not McDonald's like
No.
we just mentioned?
Yeah, no.
Okay.
No, I don't. I like to mix it up.
Okay, so you walk into an A&W.
Yeah, and you go up and order, and you don't really. The first thing that you're gonna think about is, well, probably the first thing you're gonna think about is why am I at A&W? But the second thing you're gonna think about is, hey, it's true. We've all been there.
Yes.
The second thing you're gonna think about is you don't really see a strong team element there.
No.
Like, or at least you don't think you do. But having applied for a job today and subsequently getting the job, they talked about how teamwork is essential to running a business like that. And maybe that's the reason that McDonald's is more successful than most.
Well, yeah.
I don't know.
If you go to McDonald's and even like a drive-through, or compared to other places like A&W or Wendy's or whatever, McDonald's has it down perfectly.
Oh yeah, for sure. They've definitely perfected what customer service should be like.
It's perfected, it's smooth, it's quick, and it's why they're so successful. It's just they have it all down perfectly.
Yeah, and some other places just aren't up to snuff.
Now, obviously, you can question that the food's probably not the best, but
yeah,
but
we're talking about like
issue.
If we're talking about customer service, but we're not talking about the quality of the food. We're just talking about what it means to be successful.
And how efficient they are, too.
Yeah, and not necessarily food, too. Like, Starbucks is huge. And I don't know how that came to be. They started off just with coffee, and My dad made a good point the other day. He said that it used to be Starbucks coffee, and now everybody just knows it as Starbucks.
Yeah, because it's more than that. People go and sit and talk, and
and they've got desserts there and stuff.
Yeah.
But I mean, that tells you when you don't need to use the full name. It's like having a nickname for something. You know it so well that you don't have to call it by its full name. You can shorten it, and I think McDonald's has that stuff like that. But customer service is definitely big.
Yeah.
And it makes people want to come back because at the end of the day, you're not just selling food, you're trying to have customers for life. Or at least I feel.
Yeah, you want them to come back to have a good experience. And consistency is important in that. Cause,
for sure.
You go there and you get bad service. Well, maybe it's an off day. Well, they really shouldn't be having off days. They should be putting the effort in to get it right every time.
Yeah, and I think that's what being a team is too. If somebody's not really on it, so to speak, that day, somebody will pick them up. Yeah. Somebody will fix the problem. People that know how to fix problems is what you want. Yeah. You want people that can face versatility. That's
especially important when money's on the line.
Well, at the end of the day, money. We were talking about it the other day, and the person, I don't know how they usually do it, but the person who I had the interview today was the hiring manager. And I'm thinking, like, you've obviously got your hierarchy of managerial positions at any chain, but I'm thinking really the hiring manager is one of your most important because they've got the future of the company in their hands.
Yes.
I mean, if they let in a kid that's lazy and maybe they just don't know it, he claims to work hard and he's lazy and he just doesn't get the job done, and he kind of like there's a chain effect and he ruins everything from the inside. Yeah. Is basically what I'm trying to say.
They really control the balance of how the workforce is going to look.
Yeah, and I never really understood that before. But Griffin and I, one of our favorite places is the Cactus Club.
Yes.
Which is where we're pretty close. Like 15 minutes away. It's pretty close.
Yeah, there's one in Langley. I haven't been there, but there's...
Yeah, that one's pretty new.
A couple in Vancouver.
Yeah. And it's great there. Great food, great service.
It feels like a much higher end place than, it's not a fast food place.
No, at all. Yeah, I should have made that clear. This is definitely a restaurant.
Yeah, it's a nice restaurant, and it's a Canadian exclusive too.
Yeah, it is, and it's
only
great
in Western Canada.
Yeah, I wouldn't say it's as high as, I don't know, if I had to compare it to something, it's about Olive Garden.
I'd put it above Olive Garden.
Above Olive Garden?
It's a much more sort of modern feel, but it's still comfortable and welcoming.
It's definitely above White Spot, but it's definitely below, I don't know,
Restaurant at the Four Seasons or something.
Yeah, something like that. It's not top notch.
No.
But they do a good job of making it seem like top notch. And some of the things, if we're talking about what makes restaurants successful, the customer service is great.
Yes.
People opening the door for you, closing the door.
The first thing you notice when you walk into a Cactus Club is that there are a ton of waitresses.
Oh, yeah.
There will be at least 4 standing at the counter and a whole bunch of them walking around.
And they've all got jobs to do. There's not 2 standing around. There's not 3 standing around. One's opening the door. One's manning, like one's going to seat you.
Yeah. You think you
one's
see them
the hostess.
And you think, well, my God, they got nothing to do. They're over hiring.
Yeah.
But when you're sitting at a table, you never have to wait too long for anything. Like you said, opening the door, there's very good service.
Yeah, and there's no shortage of guys there either.
No.
Like lots of guys, but it's really busy, but it's always packed when we go there, and it's just. Oh, yeah. But the customer service. I mean, one of the things that sticks out is we talk about it a little bit before, you and I, how when a waiter or waitress takes your order and they don't need to write it down.
Yeah.
I think that's a big thing for people. People are impressed by that.
Yeah.
And I mean, if we're talking about business, if you can impress your customers and they want to give you a better tip at the end of the day, maybe that tip goes to you, but they're going to come back.
Oh, yeah.
And they're going to spend more money at your establishment.
It's part of the experience. It shows that specifically shows that the waiter or waitress knows the menu well.
Yeah, which is rare.
Yeah.
Not many can.
Yeah, it's a subconscious thing. If they don't need to write down what you're ordering, it's a little more personal. Like they know.
Yeah, that's a good point. It's more personal, and I like that word because it's more not necessarily a connection. It doesn't have to be that philosophical, but that's just one small part. Obviously, good quality of food is big.
Yeah.
I mean, if the food's good, then people are going to come back.
Yeah, and the food at Cactus Club is good.
It is good. And it's not overly priced. It's a little pricier than the average restaurant.
It's definitely on the high end, but
yeah, but it's not.
It's
not like $100 lobster or steak.
No,
it's just a little more than.
Yeah.
But that's the thing.
That's normal around Vancouver, though.
Oh yeah, for sure. And you got to pay for better.
Yeah.
Some things are overpriced, but Cactus Club isn't one of them.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you get what you paid for.
Yeah.
I haven't been to the one in Langley, but I like the one in Abbotsford because it's sort of up on the hill and you can look out over the farmlands.
Yeah, I always drive by it for baseball, and I've never been there. But I've been to the Langley one like 3 or 4 times.
Yeah.
And it's just new this past year.
Mm-hmm.
I'm a pretty big fan of the Olive Garden, though, too. They've got some good.
I think I've only been once.
Oh, really?
To Olive Garden, yeah.
Well, the thing with the Olive Garden is it's pretty... The thing about, once again, talking about business and success, if your restaurant is limited to one sort of food type,
yeah,
or you know what I mean, like, for example, the Olive Garden, for those of you that are in the States, I don't think they have Olive Gardens there. I don't think so.
I thought so.
Oh, do they?
I don't know.
Maybe? Okay, well, excuse my American ignorance. But if you know what an Olive Garden is, or if you don't know, it's basically an Italian restaurant that's a little higher end, kind of like Cactus Club.
But not quite as high as Cactus.
Yeah, not quite as high, but it's a little more pricier than I use White Spot as my generic example because those are all over.
Yeah.
Or Applebee's for those in the States, because that's basically their White Spot.
Yeah, Applebee's is interesting. The one I've only been to one. The one I went to was on my trip down to San Francisco. Mm-hmm. I think it was right near the water, kind of. It was like a 2-story thing.
Yeah.
So the restaurant was upstairs with windows.
Yeah.
And then downstairs on the street, there was an elevator door and a guy there. So you walk up to this guy and say, okay, there's 3 of us. And he goes on his walkie-talkie and says, there's 3 coming up. Like to, I guess, someone upstairs. And then you go in the elevator and go up and they have a table for you.
Wow.
Kind of strange, but
Yeah.
a nice experience.
Well, yeah, like the point I was making about if you're limited to one thing like Italian food, well, not everybody loves Italian food. Some may even despise Italian food. Mm-hmm. And those people are weird, but they can still, but I'm just saying. So that's limited, yet it's still packed in there because they have good food, the service is good. But for some people, that's all they need. Like Denny's is a good example, and that's worldwide. And Denny's, it has dinner.
Yeah.
But I mean, really, the majority of people go to Denny's for breakfast.
Yeah, and that's why they serve
Or
breakfast
brunch.
all day.
Yeah, and that's one thing. If you can stay consistent with something that you have, now obviously Denny's is a little different because they're not just Mexican.
No.
They've got everything.
Yeah.
But if you can stay consistent and like breakfast every day, or you establish yourself as a breakfast only place, and that's good enough for the people, then that's great.
Yeah, that's the point with Denny's is that they've found what people like them for and what they're good at, and they stick to that as their main thing.
Yeah, things start to fall apart, kind of comparing the food to music that we were talking about. Things start to fall apart when people try to do things that aren't for them, or businesses try to explore too much. Obviously, trying something new is great.
Yeah.
But if you go too far and you're wanting something that you're not too bad, then, or like too much, then that's going to be an issue.
Yeah, and it's the same with a lot of things, as in music, the food industry, even the technology industry.
Yeah.
Companies trying to get into fields that they probably shouldn't.
Yeah,
I mean,
well, yeah.
Like, think how difficult it would be for any new company to release a new game console.
Oh, yeah, it'd be impossible. There's no way.
It's just so divided between Xbox and PlayStation. There's
Maybe
and
10
Wii,
years from now, they'd establish themselves.
Maybe.
If they made a good product. But if they didn't, they'd be
And
pushed away. But they can't compete now.
Yeah, and they can't come in the middle. They have to go on in the new generations of the consoles, which obviously there was just a change. We now have Xbox One and PS4.
Yeah.
So it'll likely be another 10 years before we see a significant change.
Yeah, well, yeah, pretty much. Because what are you going to do with if... And yeah, we got a little off topic from the restaurants, but on that point, what do you do if you have a new company or establishment that wants to release something that's GameCube-esque?
Yeah.
And I mean, the GameCube was great.
It was great.
10 years ago, or whenever that was.
I don't know.
Maybe even less. People still enjoy it somewhat the last half decade. But I mean, if you came out with something like that today, there's just no way that
No,
you could be...
it really can't compete. I mean,
Yeah.
The bigger problem with the GameCube is that it uses the micro discs or the smaller discs, which is fine for the games, but it totally cuts out the possibility of having like DVDs or anything like that play. Which DVDs are going away as well, but
no kidding, because everything's done online, either illegally or legally. But that was one thing. That was the word I was looking for earlier. Is presentation in music, in food, in video games. If you can present something well enough, people will want it. I mean,
first impressions in business are very important.
Oh yeah, they're your most important. Because, well, for example, what if one day your first customer that walks into your store is someone important, and they could determine what happens to your business?
Yeah.
But presentation, like, I've been to restaurants before. I've been like across the states to restaurants there, Milwaukee, New York, stuff like that, and in Boston, and they can give you something that's so simple, like, I don't know, let's say soup.
Yeah.
Like clam chowder.
Just a normal soup.
Yeah, but the way that they present it, the way that it's brought out, the way that it's acted upon.
The way that it looks on the plate. Even.
Yeah, the way it looks on the plate.
In the case of soup in a bowl.
Yeah. And the imagination that's put forward in it. And it can either taste good, or maybe it tastes the same as the clam chowder you had in Abbotsford, but you're going to enjoy that one more because that's how it works. That's a psychological aspect of it.
Because it was a better experience overall, not just the food.
Yes. Yeah, you enjoyed yourself more, and if you're having a good time, then everything else, you're going to have a good time eating, you're going to have a good time hanging out with your friends at the table.
Because food is, like, a sit-down meal is, in places like Canada, the developed world basically, is a social experience. It's not just about food.
Yeah. And that's the thing too, like another key component is confidence. If you're confident in what your business sells, like if you go to, now we'll use McDonald's for an example.
Okay.
If you go to McDonald's and you say, what would you recommend?
Yeah.
Well, I bet you the majority of people won't know what to recommend.
No.
They'd say, well, I don't know. And the thing is they're working there. Maybe their job is just to count the money at the end of the day, to take your money, to serve you the food in the bags that they didn't even make. They're just picking up the bag, giving it to you. But at the end of the day, I'm not really tempted to go back to a place if I can't trust the people who seem to be in charge, which is what we deem the people in front.
Whereas compared to a place like Cactus Club, obviously it's a very different place.
Yeah.
But, you ask someone there what to recommend. They're going to know everything on the menu.
Yes.
Know what's good and know what's good lately, like local specials. That
yeah,
kind of
for
thing.
sure. Basically what's hot, like what people want.
And you could do that with a fast food menu. You just, like, what's the most popular item? What do people
but
like?
nobody does. That's the thing.
Yeah.
Some
because
do, but it's pretty.
It's not part of their job. They don't expect to be doing that.
Yeah. Like if you, like go to Subway and ask, what should I have on my sandwich?
Yeah.
And they're not going to tell you what to have on your sandwich. But if you honestly want an opinion, maybe you're from out of town, you've never seen a Subway before, and you're relying on that.
Where do they not have Subways?
Well, I don't know. I'm just using an example. I don't think they have one in Bermuda. I don't know.
Okay. So if you're in Bermuda and if you're from Bermuda and you walk into a Subway,
you're screwed. See ya. Thanks for coming out.
But yeah, like how many people go through the drive-thru and ask, what do you recommend?
Yeah. Well, I don't think anyone does because they know what the answer is going to be.
Yeah.
And that's the thing, like Cactus Club, Olive Garden, not so much like Red Lobster, but what are some other big ones? I'm trying to think. We don't have really any huge ones around here.
No, other than the sort of mid-level places, you'll have like Milestones and the Keg.
Oh, the Keg. Yeah, the Keg's another great example. Or even like cruise ships. Like on a cruise ship, they can give you portions that look incredibly small, but the presentation is phenomenal. It's the best, and you're gonna enjoy the food, even if it is only gonna fill you up halfway. And you're not going to complain.
No.
Because you enjoyed the experience. And that's the thing. It should be an experience.
And part of that comes to marketing. Like.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Well, of course.
You do have to sell your product as long as you're not shoving it down people's throats. In the case of food, not literally.
Yeah, there is I see what you did there. Yeah, but there is a thing as trying too hard.
Yes.
And if you try to force something upon people, well, people are going to get angry and frustrated with you.
They're less likely to do it. You have to let them come to the decision.
Yeah, let them come to you, basically.
Yeah.
Our discussion topic for the day is we want to know what your favorite restaurant is and what you think about, well, everything we talked about, customer service, presentation. But really, we want to know what your favorite... We want to know what your favorite restaurant is and why.
Yeah, and that could be fast food or higher end, or even better, give us your favorite fast food place and your favorite
restaurant, yeah.
Higher end restaurant, yeah.
Yeah, it could be higher end, could be not, I won't say middle class, that sounds like we're in the 17th century, but yeah, just restaurants or like you were saying, fast food, and make sure you put why. Give us feedback in the comments section. I guess that's all for today.
I think so.
I'm Colin.
I'm Griffin.
And this has been GC Antics episode 5.